the Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that brought down the Nixon White House. Today, I'm taking a look at For the Crown 2nd Edition from Victory Point Games. It's a game that mixes the traditional game of chess with a card deck-building mechanic. Now, unfortunately, I'll be looking at this game by myself because Sean is in Paris, Zach is working on his experiments, and Justin filed a restraining order after the ugliness.
I'll help you review your board game.
Evil, Cody, but you're just a figment of my imagination.
Am I? Or am I so real you can't handle it?
I can't review another game with you. I got all that hate mail after your appearance in episode 3. There's just something about you that brings out the worst in people.
Perhaps you're right, Cody. But I'm the only one here. If you want to review that two-player game, it looks like I'm the only game in town.
Alright, Evil Cody. I'll review this game with you, but no tricks. I'm keeping my eye on you.
Of course, Cody. I'll be on my best behavior. But what say we make this game interesting?
Well, okay. What should we play for?
I say we play this game for the crown.
It's not been 2 minutes and already I hate you. So, if you've ever played a game of chess before, you'll be familiar with the basic gameplay in For the Crown. It plays on what is essentially a standard chessboard, but instead of starting with a full complement of pieces, you actually only start with your king on the board. Now, additionally, you will also start with 10 cards. These 10 cards consist of 6 peon cards and 4 guard cards.
Oh yes, I'm beginning to understand. While the two kings make mean faces at each other across the table, the two players engage in a game of peon guard. That's right, peon guard. First created in ancient Mesopotamia by Spanish missionaries, peon guard is a game of beet farming in which one of the players attempts to peon...
Will you shut up?
I'll be good.
Now, these peon and guard cards have information on them. They both have pawn units, but you'll notice that the guard card has an order at the bottom of the card, and the peons have a coin. This coin is its treasure, the game's currency. Some cards may have an action listed here instead of an order or treasure. Beside the board, there will always be 4 decks of cards: Consort, Clergy, Champion, and Tower. These 4 cards represent the traditional chess pieces such as Queen, Bishop, Knight, and Rook.
I don't get it. Why aren't we just playing chess? You are seriously describing everything in chess except for the peon guard metagame.
You didn't let me finish. Now additionally, there are about 20 or so small decks of cards, representing new and unusual pieces. Now what's going to happen is, at the beginning of the game, you and your opponent are going to choose 10 of these decks, which means throughout the game there will be a total of 14 decks that you can buy from, and they'll be available throughout the game until a deck runs out, of course.
Look, I may be an evil genius, but I am not a smart man. It's a chess game. What is the point of all these cards? I don't get it. I think you're making this game up as you go along.
Okay, let me put it together for you. You're going to start the game with 5 cards in your hand. Now on your starting turn, these of course are going to be your peons and guards cards. Now on your turn you can do 4 things. The first thing you're going to do is issue an order. Now an order can be moving or attacking with a piece on the board, it could be moving a unit from your barracks onto the board, or you can play an order from one of your cards and follow its instructions.
Well, that makes sense. You may continue.
Second, you can take an action. For an action, you can play a card that has an action printed upon it and follow its instructions. Often card actions will let you draw more cards, give you more treasure, or give you other benefits.
I like benefits. I wish my job had benefits.
Oh. What do you do for a living?
I teach sign language to people with chemical dependencies.
Gosh, that's not evil at all. That's actually pretty cool.
Then I kill them. Because I'm evil,
yeah,
right?
You can also do a training action during your action phase. Essentially, you trash a card, permanently removing it for play, and then get the unit that's associated with it. You can then place that unit in your barracks, which then you can move onto the board in your subsequent order phase.
So I could trash a peon or guard card to put a pawn in my barracks.
Now you're catching on. The third phase is the buy phase. You're going to total up all of the treasure from your cards, including any gain from playing an action, and you'll use this to buy a new card from the decks. Now, all things being equal, you can only buy one card per turn, though some card actions and combinations will allow you to buy one more or even two more. Finally, you'll place all the cards that you played or didn't use into your discard pile, and then you will draw 5 new cards, forming your new hand.
That's the deck building, I get it, but I still don't know how that mechanic meshes with chess. It was my goal to use the word meshes in conversation today.
Over the course of the game, you're going to be populating the board with many units, some of them familiar, some of them entirely new. You'll see pieces like the Chancellor, which moves like a rook and a knight. The Knight Rider, which leaps like a knight, but then keeps leaping until it attacks or runs into something. The Spy, which can attack any adjacent square in any direction, but moves by swapping places with another one of your units. The Sniper, who moves straight or diagonal up to 2 squares, but can only attack at least 2 squares away. And there are many, many more.
I see. You can use these units to maneuver your forces into checkmating your enemy's king, winning the game. Now it all makes sense.
Well, it's not quite that easy. First of all, you don't call check when putting the opposing king into danger.
And the Czech people are okay with this? Somebody call Prague and make sure we're not stepping on anyone's toes. I really think you need to call check.
Not at all. You see, in For the Crown, many a victory will be won when one player or the other forgets how the opposing pieces move.
Devilish. So that's it then, right? You use your super weird pieces to capture the enemy's king. And that's the game, right? No more surprises.
Well, not exactly. You see, each player might have more than one king.
Cody, I swear by all that is holy, if you are making this up as you go along, I will force-feed you cocaine, and then I will teach you sign language.
I'm not making it up. In order to win, you need to capture all of your opponent's sovereign units, meaning its kings. In addition to the king you start with, you can also purchase an heir card, which will let you create a new king unit. Also, you can purchase the Destiny card, which allows you to train anointed units, which are also considered sovereigns in the game. Like the kings, all of your enemy's anointed units must be eliminated before you can declare victory.
And that's it. No more surprises.
That's it. Pretty straightforward.
That actually sounds pretty cool. But you played it, Cody. What are your thoughts?
This game presents a lot of strategic choices. Now, the deck building is pretty straightforward, but you're always wondering, what should I use the card for? Should I use the action? Should I use the order? Should I scrap the card and get a unit? You're constantly weighing what the card can do for you when it's in the hand, or what the unit can do for you when it's on the board. In a lot of ways, this game is about timing. It's about how and when do you transition from building up your deck to actually making that great push with your units on the board. Now, the game is also a lot like chess, obviously, in many ways, not the least of which is the fact that you constantly have to be on the ball about what your opponent is doing and what his pieces can do. Are they threatening you? How are they threatening you? How can you get out of these traps?
If only we had our own little personal Admiral Akbars to warn us. It's a trap. I know, Admiral. I know.
Now, this game can present problems to gamers who suffer from analysis paralysis because there is so much going on in this game. Now, it can lead to really long games. The box says it takes 30 to 60 minutes. I've had games that have gone on for 2 or 3 hours. And in these longer games, the deck building completely disappears, and it really just becomes a game of playing chess with weird pieces and occasional orders from your hand. Now, that's not bad, it's just a little bit different. In virtually every game I played, it's come down to one of the players forgetting what one of the other pieces does, and that other player capturing the king by surprise.
So, I'm confused. Do you like the game or not?
Well, if you've seen any of the other episodes of The Discriminating Gamer or read any of my written reviews, you know that I love highly thematic games. I love historical experiences, science fiction epics, or fantasy adventures. For the Crown is about as thematic as chess, which is to say, not very.
So, you don't like it?
I love it!
Well, now I'm just confused.
For the Crown is just fantastic. It's a game of decisions and careful considerations. It's an army building game as much as it's a deck building game, and I love it! I love it like a woman!
That explains why you're still single.
And the chafing! And as though the base game wasn't cool enough already, Victory Point Games has released some great expansions. Shock and Awe introduces some cool new cards like the Doppelganger, which allows you to get a copy of the first card you bought on a turn, and trains the Changeling unit, which can mimic any piece it's next to on the board. The All the King's Men variant allows for extended play scenario and 2v2 team play. Like the base game, the expansions are all just great.
So, are we going to play now?
Do you really want to? We know how it's going to end. I'm good, and good will always triumph over evil.
Then how do you explain Beyonce?
The pawns are guarding, and the bishops will bless, as you play a game familiar that are so much more than chess. The knights are leaping in the filthy little town, fighting for kingdom and fighting for crown. You're watching your opponent as he builds his evil horde, and deftly moves his pieces all across the checkerboard. Oh, there's a winner to lose and maybe your fate, but remember, only victors get the chance to procreate. So fight for glory and for the trumpets that sound, fighting for kingdom and fighting for crown. The maiden beckons here, a fight and do your very best, for only winners get the chance to see my ample breast. So fight for glory as your men are on the ground, fighting for kingdom and fighting for crown, fighting for kingdom and fighting for crown.
So undoubtedly, unequivocally, my recommendation for the Crown is buy it.
Ha ha! Cody, you fool! While you were giving your recommendation, I grabbed the last parachute!
We're in a building, on the first floor, and that's a backpack.
If you like this review, like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube, The Discriminating Gamer. I'll see you in hell, Cody.
I'm sorry.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I've been dying.
So, are we going to play now? I lost my beard. Uh-oh.